And we're off to the races, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the NA Challenger Series #1, hosted by Chaos TV. We're into game #2 of the Super Team NA up against the Snuggies and Slippers. Teams have swapped, so Arthalon and crew going to be off to the right, the Snuggies and Slippers off to the left, and I'm Sean Fourcore Jester Delaney, joined by Alex Malphus X Manley. So, bans are coming out, sir. What do you think of the last game, and what do you predict going into game #2?
I think basically last game came down to a bit of a blunder in picks and bans. I think it came down to they tried to bait the Cassidy pick and then they didn't necessarily bring the firepower they needed to turn it back. So the fact that they allowed Arthalon to kind of just rampage around with the Cassidy became a huge problem. Realistically, the Pantheon jungle I think was even more of an issue, so I expect it, and I'm watching on the stream, so I just now do see that it does get banned out. I'm not too surprised by that one. So I think that's a good adaptation from them, and I think if they keep their heads on straight throughout picks and bans and play the early game in maybe a little bit more aggressive of a fashion, I think they have a pretty good shot at this one.
So West Coast carry, if you take a look at his most played champions, Nidalee, Gragas, Soraka, and I say that he definitely put a good foot forward there for the case of a solo lane Soraka. It's just something just not accustomed to seeing. So yes, at least Pantheon Kazakhs, the Kastin, Soraka, Yasuo. So at least in Yasuo, the repeat bans this round, targeting there on the West Coast carry, targeting on the Kastin, the Kazakhs as well. I was a little surprised to see that actually entering the ban list. First pick, Vi for the Snuggies, and the answer is going to be Caitlyn Thresh from the Super Team.
Yeah, this is okay, I can get behind these picks. I accidentally clicked something else so I couldn't see for a second. I was like, okay, what do I talk about? The Soraka I think worked out pretty well in lane, but it was just the early aggression for Pantheon was too strong. They wanted to use the Soraka to silence Kassadin when he came in and then heal up his target. So that was kind of the answer to the Kassadin. It didn't necessarily work out for them all that well. So I like their approach coming this time around. They're doing smart things, picking up highly contested, very powerful junglers in their first pick that don't reveal any of their strategy, don't reveal any of their solo lane, stuff like that. And now they're going to do the smart thing here. Both teams have locked in their AD carry and support, as that's arguably the lane that has the least like, oh, I'm going to hard counter the crap out of you. They're both picked really kind of like, I want to say archetypal lanes, right? Caitlyn and Thresh are very difficult to deal with at pretty much all phases of the laning phase. And Jinx and Annie are just obscenely bursty, and particularly at level 6 have a lot of good kill pressure. So I like what we're seeing so far from both these teams.
As a note, we had not only Gragas banned last game, but Caitlyn and Thresh and Vi. In fact, the only two real carry forward bans this round was Elise and Yasuo. So we do have 4 of the 6 bans from the game #1 going to be in effect here for game #2. Pantsar Dragon picks up the Wukong, Hayam Echo solidifying the Gragas, likely to go to Arthalon. But if Pantsar Dragon played such a great Pantheon game, I can't imagine that he's any less effective on a Wukong.
Yeah, exactly. Another physical damage, strong, bursty, potentially snowbally early game jungler who has really good ganks, has good teamfight presence, and can get a lot done. Even if he decides to build with a slightly tankier Wukong build, once you get a little bit of early HP, you can kind of start abusing his passive to just have massive armor and magic resist in early 2v2 and 3v3 skirmishes. So it's pretty deadly here. I'm expecting to see a mid laner get locked in here for Trooper. Something along the lines of an Orianna is kind of what I'm expecting here. Again, I'm watching from the stream delay, so if he's already picked something else, I'm sorry for being ignorant.
That's alright. It was an Aatrox, sorry, finished off there, and it does look like that will go to Arthalon. Okay. So he will very likely be up into his top lane this round. As you did predict from the game #1, they did do that swap, but this round Aatrox very likely in the top, Trooper there in the mid with Gragas, leaving us with Caitlyn Thresh in the bot and our Wukong out to jungle. So on the left-hand side with the Snuggies and Slippers, I can only imagine Shyvana in a cute Snuggie and Slipper, but Shyvana top for the West Coast carry. The rune page that we used from Soraka last game was actually called Shyvana, so not really too much of a surprise to see a Shyvana pick up there. Very solid for the top. Snicker going to be picking up the Nidalee, and that leaves us with Jinx, Annie bot with our jungler Vi.
And I'm looking at this Aatrox pick, and I'm sort of trying to make sense of it. Because they basically, they're in a situation where they have 2 champions that have some tankiness to them, but they don't have like just a super tanky hard tank. which West Coast carry Shyvana will become, and Vi will could potentially hit that level as well. Although a lot of people do prefer building some early damage items on Vi. I do not like this team composition as much for Super Team NA as I did in the last composition. So this could be very interesting. Jinx is an AD carry who has become slightly less popular since her base health nerf with the last patch, but is still very strong. There's a lot of good kill potential, particularly when paired up with Annie. And they've got the Nidalee poke, which can definitely get them through a lot of hard times if they should need it.
So it might just be a little bit of overconfidence going without that solid tank, but again, we might actually see a build order come out that's just kind of defies a little bit of logic. As you said, you know, Vi could become the secondary tank here for the Snuggies and Slippers, or could become a Vi fighting, or a Viting. It's a terrible pun, but you could actually see that as well, because, you know, Vi has been in and around the scene a long time now, very popularized by the Koreans back in the day, and not entirely too sure if she's actually fallen a little bit out of favor with Season 4 or not, but still, when it comes to lockdown, locking everyone down with the Vi, with the Shyvana, definitely could go into some really fun times, especially when you add an Annie into the mix. So, game number 2 going to be coming your way in just a few moments here, guys. It is going to be the Snuggies and Slippers on the left-hand side up against the Team Arthlon, the Super Team. They're on the right. Super Team up 1-0, and this is the match point for them. They sweep this 2-0. They will move on to tomorrow's matches and ever closer to that $350 payout here with Chaos TV. So don't go anywhere. We will return with game number 2. We'll see you in a sec. And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Game number 2 underway. So we got the Snuggies and Slippers going up against the Super Team. Super Team looking for that match point win. Forker Jester with me here, Malphus X. And already, again, the Nero net of looking at all the different jungle entrances here, just trying to block off any kind of invades coming out from the Super Team. But, you know, consistently, we don't really see a lot of invades these days in Season 4, do we?
No, it's become a lot less popular, just because of how much closer we are to world peace.
That's the reason. Yeah.
A lot of it has to do with trinket wards. With like everyone gets to start wards now as soon as we hit the 1.5 minute mark, and so it makes it a lot easier to kind of spot these invasions out. Also, generally speaking, first blood is worth a lot less now, so it's not always the most. It's not as crucial in this season as it was before. Where like, oh, we got first blood, that was 600 gold because we have an assist. Woo! You know, it's nowhere near quite as powerful this time around. So people are putting a lot less priority on those kinds of invasions.
Well, it's definitely the Doran game these days. A lot of Doran's items out and about, shields and rings, and even a few swords out there. But, you know, again, we're just looking for our laning assignments. Doesn't look like anything really that, you know, out of the ordinary is going to be happening. We're starting off at blues and reds. Top laners are where they should be. Our duo lanes are in the bot. And it is going to be a Nidalee and Gragas there in the mid. So, again, just we'll have to see where things go different. Now, last time we saw the super team really early on that bottom lane, just harassing the duo, and was able to get a lot of big pressure advantage out of that, but kind of fizzled out as time went on.
Yeah, this is going to be kind of interesting. I'm watching it right now. I watched a lot more bottom lanes of late than anything else it seems in the early game, and Effusively has gone with the W first, so he has a stun ready. And to me, what this says is that they recognize that the Thresh Caitlyn are going to take control of the lane early, and he just wants to have the availability of early CC to keep them from getting a little bit too aggressive and to keep them from really trying to dive in onto Evan RL. A lot of Annies have started taking Q first just because of how much damage output you're able to deal. If you feel like you're in a lane matchup where you're not going to just get CC'd and die very early on, Thresh has the potential to CC and kill you pretty much at level 2. And maybe even level 1 if you get a little bit too adventurous. So I think this is going to be a relatively passive lane from the side of Snuggies and Slippers, at least for the first couple of levels.
Well, the pressure is still surmounting against the Snuggies, just like we saw. A nice hook going out, but Batosai not able to land it on top of everyone. Could be an early gank into the top, who started at the red, so Vi coming in at from the blue, about the 3-minute mark. Been pretty standard there, but Aatrox knows what's up. We also got Wukong making his way over here, so could actually turn the tables on top of Lucio, but we'll have to see if that gank actually does occur.
And that's a little bit of miscommunication that they don't know that ward's there. Diving in, he wants to put some pressure down.
And so definitely could have went a little bit smoother from both parties, but hey, hit points were rendered, and now people are missing certain amounts at this point. Arthalon still, again, pressuring in on top of that. Look at this, Panzer Dragon finds Lucio here in this early, but both of them are just deciding it's not worth the pain, and they're just gonna repel like magnets.
Lucio tried to make a guess. He thought Panzer Dragon was going to get fancy with his jukes. A lot of times Wukongs will run one direction, pop their decoy, and run the other direction. And I'm not sure if that's what Lucio was doing, or if Lucio was just like so dead set on getting out of that fight that he wanted to use the full Vault Breaker to get away from that one. So you see more trading at the bottom lane. The stun misses!
Yeah, some interesting positioning going on, but Evan gets right up into the Batos side. First blood will go the way of Thresh, believe it or not, by milliseconds, as Effusively now has to just go man-to-man up against the Deathbringer himself. So both of our ADCs actually trade out, and both of our supports take home the kills. And
that, if Effusively had not missed his stun, that would not have happened. But he, but Tusai's Lantern got pulled at just the right moment, right when Effusively was like, okay, I'm going to burn my stun. I'm going to do it. Let's fight him. And just like that, they were able to put the first blood gold. First blood bonus does go over to the side of Super Team NA, but as you mentioned both supports picking up those kills. And honestly, Thresh doesn't scale anywhere near as well with items as Annie does. So this is by far not the worst thing in the world to happen to Snuggies and Slippers this game.
And they're still trading out back and forth. Both ADCs going to be landing back on their feet, coming back. Both of them actually with Vamp Scepters, so very similar mentality of going back and forth. I've been keeping an eye here on West Coast carry in the top, but bottom lane is going to be that hook. It is going to land on top of Evan. Evan could be going down. The stun is very successful that time, but Evan with the passive. Look at him just jet on out of that. The flash forward in the flay. Batosai once again takes it home, and 2 kills sitting on our Thresh in the bot.
Yeah, I mean, it was good of him to flash forward and be able to finish that kill off, but that was Evan RL. He just almost made his way back out of that one. Once again, I mean, we just see they just keep going at it. They keep kind of pounding their heads against one another. Neither support has actually gone back to buy, so we're in a situation where Thresh has almost 1,500 gold. and probably will be breaking that number by the time he heads back to base, which is pretty unheard of, realistically, for a support this early on in the game to have that much unspent gold. We'll see if he's able to really turn it into something advantageous for his team. Okay, looks like I have disconnected from the game.
Yeah, everyone's standing still for me as well. That, Rito, please!
Was that we had a note from one of our production guy? What was that, Ruben?
Yay.
Oh, okie dokie.
This is the welcome to the Museum of League of Legends. Very lifelike appearances on a lot of these wax statues as we have our schedulally interrupted server downtime. Not entirely too sure what is. Oh, okay. Everything is just gonna decide that it is now a slideshow. So welcome to the slideshow of Legends.
All right, I'm just hanging out in the mid lane. All of Nidalee's traps are blinking, makes me feel like I'm at a rave. So I just keep scrolling in and out, and I'm having a good time.
This radio cast brought to you by Chaos Television. Chuper looks like he's been losing a little bit of weight. Ooh, Batosai ghost walking right through all the statues, right into tower range. Fortunately, the towers are disabled during slideshow maneuvers, so.
Ooh, and all
possibly back.
we get a little bit of an update, and it's like, okay, did anybody die? 2-2. Nope, everything's fine.
Well, it looks. Yeah, okay, we lost our camera, but the game is going, guys. Don't worry. Your radio casting crew here of Malphus X and Borgo Justa will get you through it. Thankfully, you missed no kills, just a lot of minions dying, but nobody gives 2 cares for them, so we will go over that fact and look at some of the engagements going on.
Shoutouts to Chaos TV for clearly being individually and unilaterally all of the server issues on EU West, as soon as they try to move into North America, they bring the issues along with them. So, big shout out to you guys. We do love you very much. Chuper getting caught out in the enemy jungle.
Yeah, Chuper went for a walk, but he ran into 3 enemy team members, flashes over into the Dragon Pit, and a belly bounce means he's going to get out of that one. No death there, but Flash is now down. And his Ignite, actually, he tried to trade it out with, I guess, Nidalee, but he did not trade it for any other summoners, so that's going to be a decent advantage going the way of the Snuggies.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, Chuper thought that he had the opportunity to go for the full burst, and shoutouts to Ixnicker for recognizing that there wasn't enough burst there to actually pick up the kill. He still has his barrier available to him, and this is a really aggressive Dragon Call for Superteam NA.
Yeah, we got some low hit point bars across the board here for the Super Team, but here comes the rest of the Snuggies. That's going to be Thresh just buying them time. The red team does take the Dragon, and they're going to take Vi on top of things. Diffusively in the back, looking for the kill on top of Wukong, is going to get it and flashes out successfully. But it does look like it will be a trade-off, but the Dragon successfully did go to the Super Team. They're not done yet. Evan RO could be in some trouble. Batosai there trying to make life difficult for him. He does have an Ignite ticking away. He will grab the kill and effusively going to drop as well. Had an ace in the hole on her, but didn't need it. And now that trade-off definitely going sour for the Snuggies.
Yeah, that's kind of rough. Luso tried to get in a range to actually lock that up, but Batosai was standing between the two of them. Thresh is really good at preventing smite steals if he's between the jungler and the objective. And see, Arthlon pops the ult. He's going in on a West Coast carry.
Yeah, but it's just going to be the Dragon's Descent to get out of the danger zone, but goes right back in, says, maybe I can do it now, but the Ignite could be too much. The flash forward from Arthlon. And Arthlon, please. Not even going to drop. Wow, 24 hit points, doesn't even drop from the return Ignite.
And even if he had dropped, I mean, he'd just go down to his passive and come right back up, and it would just be a little bit of time that he didn't have the passive available.
Screwing up, yeah.
Yeah, the Aatrox pick
Whoa,
oh, now we're going to see it.
Yeah, so there's the Bloodwell passive coming out, and that was the ult there from Luso, the Assault and Batteries. So, not entirely too sure he's going to have what it takes to take down Arthlon, but still, Bloodwell is now expended.
Yeah, that's really good. That's really good for West Coast carry. Is more action happening here in the mid lane.
Yeah, Snicker does find Wukong there out in the river, but Gragas are going to be coming in, and everything was K. Does look like the final score after all the confrontation, 6-3. Maybe 7 if Evan is going to get caught out, but looks like he's alright. He has to go up against a Caitlyn now with that red and blue and a BF sword, so it's definitely looking, again, a little sour here for our Snuggies and Slippers.
There's nothing more obnoxious to have to face as a bottom laner than a double buff Caitlyn. Actually, let me amend that. A double buff Caitlyn or a double buff Ezreal. Either one of those are just absolutely obnoxious to have to deal with.
I'd go Ezreal, yeah. I think that's the more obnoxious, to be honest.
Well, with Ez, you at least have the counterplay of like hiding behind creeps, right? Hayam Echo is just like, I have 650 range, every auto attack deals bonus true damage over time and slows you. Get wrecked.
And getting wrecked is exactly what Arthalon's doing. Top West Coast carry coming in with some major pain. Does have himself the Vamp Scepter on top of the Giant's belt, but no, Snicker. Good flash out from the Nidalee. Looks like he's going to get out of that one. Could have been a potential kill for the Super Team, but down goes that bot tower as West Coast carry still dueling out up against Arthalon. Really looking for that kill. Arthalon does not have that Bloodwell passive, but no, we're into that tower range and West Coast carry just could not seal the deal.
West Coast Carry just took his Shyvana ultimate a little bit too far. He wanted to make absolutely sure that he hit it, but he ended up pushing himself out of range of Arthalon by the end of it. He wasn't able to follow back up with the extra auto attack, the extra 10 bites. And now Arthalon, this is why I like the Aatrox into Shyvana. When I first saw it, I was like, yeah, I'm not so sure about this. Arthalon, he wants his kill.
He really does, and I think he's gonna... No, okay, we're gonna flash, and nobody's gonna die at all. West Coast Carry, though, flash down, ignite down, everything's down for him. Could have been very disastrous.
So a lot of like Shyvana's playstyle is involved with taking really advantageous trades and then just being really tanky and having good health regen to kind of make that worthwhile. You can't necessarily play that style of like go in, trade health, and just have more health and be tankier and regen better against Aatrox, because as soon as he gets below half health, his healing is going to triple up from his W, and he's going to have infinite sustain. So it's really hard to try to chip him down. Basically, West Coast Carry has to get him below half, and then try to go for an all-in with the ultimate, with the ignite, with everything else, and make it happen. And ideally have Vi around for a gank if he could. And so far, they just haven't been able to make that work for them, as Arthalon's still 1-0-0, and Luso is caught.
Yeah, he's speaking of that, Vi coming in for a gank. Fortunately, went to the tower's aid, lost the tower, lost her life in the process, and now Shyvana has to deal with the fact that Arthalon's up 2-0. Bottom lane again, pushing in here for the Super Team. That second tier tower under fire. Caitlyn, one of the best siegers in the game. Evan just cannot do anything without any kind of support. And where is the support? I don't know. West Coast Carry's getting 2v1 top, and here comes finally Nidalee and Annie back to the bot. So could see a potential ambush, but there's a lot of wards out there, so
that's a message statement delivered. Message statement, that's right, English is hard. Statement delivered going on there. Just as they're backing away, they have no interest in actually trying to make anything happen.
No, but beautiful lantern.
Oh, it's just so gorgeous, flying through the sky. It's like an acrobat on a trapeze.
Once you add mobility to Caitlyn, it's just like, well, that was one of her prominent weaknesses. But there goes that mid tower again, 3-on-1. The monkey goes in with Nidalee. And Luso, unfortunately, from that Vi does drop. Panzer Dragon's going to be running out of this one. Those are traps! You don't want to touch those! No! Snicker gets the kill. The Super Mega Death Rocket does whistle through the air harmlessly. Does not find a kill. Snicker looking for the kill on top of Chupa, but it's really low hit points. Instead, it's going to be effusively with a flash forward anti-kill. West Coast Carry back to his one-on-one duels, and our bot lane still pushing in. So, business is normal everywhere except mid right now.
Yeah, this is Super Team and A are really pulling themselves ahead with this one. Just across the map, generally speaking. It's a little unfortunate that Batusai has as many kills as he does, but Arthalon is just completely controlling the top lane. He's going in for the dive again. Yeah,
really greedy dive right through that tower. That was the ignite on top of the West Coast Carry as well. Does Luso have ult? No, I think he just used it in that previous team fight, but the Sultan battery, or sorry, the Volt Break.
Alright, I'm a little concerned, honestly, with Chuper's Gragas right now. He's been missing a lot of really key skill shots and really key moments that have been either losing kills or forcing his team to like follow up a little bit too far to really make things happen. And now Panzer Dragon is starting back. They do not want this fight.
Panzer Dragon, however, is going to be the target. Does seem to get out of dodge. We did have the box come out here from Batosai. Here comes the rest of the Super Team on top of things, and you know that spear just whistling right through everyone. I think the Super Team's going to take this opportunity with their pressure and position to take the Dragon, or at least their attempt. Aatrox is coming down the side. West Coast Carry already here, and West Coast Carry is going to get absolutely chunked down. He was able to land some damage. Great separation, but there goes the anti-ult right on top, and that's going to be the Super Death Market on top of Chuper. He drops. Echo now going to be running, has to use that net. Batosai could be the target. He's not exactly the fastest wheel in the shed at this point, but we might also just turn right around, get that Dragon, or they can run right into an Arthalon 5-on-1. Can Arthalon do it? Panzer Dragon comes in, great Cyclone, just knocking everyone up, gets the Lantern for Batosai as well. Double kill comes the way of Echo, as Evan RL is going to land into the triple. Do we still have an ace? Because that could land into the quad, and Echo doesn't quite get it, but Arthlon does. So a nice 4-for-0 exchange by the end of all that.
This is how close this was to that fight going the other direction. If Hayam Echo was any less careful with his positioning at the beginning of that, that fight would have 100% been Snuggies and Slippers, like, utterly and completely. Chuper popped the ult, trying to pull in a squishy target or just trying to separate the enemy team, or just thought he could have an opportunity to get good burst down, and he ended up putting Effusively right in the middle of his team, a level 8 Annie with stun ready to go. If that Tibbers had hit both Gragas and Caitlyn, and they were able to open up on both the high damage output carries, as Luso wants to get that blue buff back.
Yeah, he really does. That's going to be the spear dodged out there by Arthlon. Snicker trying to make it happen effusively in the back there as well, but not entirely too sure they're going to be able to quite solidify on that. Snicker is going to dodge out of that barrel. Chuper now could be in some trouble, but he throws down the explosive cask and he will be K. Does eat a spear in the back though, so he does get chunked down, but Arthlon should be able to just cover that escape, no problem.
Yeah, Luso's here. They want to get the follow-up CC.
And they just very well might. West Coast Carry goes in with that Dragon's Descent. Arthlon is going to be trying to trade out the kill top, but Luso still does, and is still alive. Finally does drop. Snicker is going to successfully retrieve the blue, but man, even with a 3-on-2 advantage, they still only traded 1 for 1.
Alright, so let's have an object lesson in what happens when you have a skirmish fight with no CC against an Aatrox. He follows you around and right-clicks the snot out of you, and lifesteals enough because he's below half health that it takes forever to kill him, and he's able to trade back 1 for 1 in a 3v2.
Hey, if you limp on, man, I mean, you didn't die, right?
Oh, Snicker, goodbye.
Yeah, Snicker might actually die. That's going to be the ace in the hole, and, well, Echo dominating with a 6-2-4 score. Does have the Bloodthirster and the Phantom, and it looks like they're going to solidify another tower on top of this. Something to note, the Super Team has not dropped a tower yet.
Red team's turret has been
And as I say that, yeah, Evan
Massacres.
grabs it. I saw her fighting off with the Gragas. Didn't actually expect the tower to drop, but that's okay. Jinx is off to the side. Effusively is down again. A nice Cyclone combo. Echo kicking another kill, but that's going to be the inhibitor turret, and now possibly even the inhibitor on top of that.
Absolutely, and that's what you have to do against the support Annie. It's so difficult to catch Annie out and actually drop her before she has an opportunity to use her spells. And that was why Panzer Dragon had zero hesitation whatsoever. He was just like, okay, you got her CC, you got the death sentence down, you got the play, okay, I'll follow up with a Cyclone. I don't care if it's just a support, because if we can take this kill, and we can take that big stun and AoE damage off the map, even if it's just a support, it doesn't matter. It's enough to make it difficult for us to push right now. Our Caitlyn's ready to take the tower. Let's just burn this, pick up the kill, and get the objectives.
Caitlyn taking towers, taking blue and red. She has actually maintained that double buff status for a good bit now, but they did just successfully stay out the red from the Slippers and Snuggies. And at this point, with a 15-8 score, it's really the gold difference between them, 12,000 gold. It's kind of snowballing a little bit out of control for the Super Team, and they're poised in good form for a game number 2 win to take it 2-0 to advance to tomorrow's rounds.
Yeah, this is going to be a very difficult game for Snuggies and Slippers to really come back from at this point. Hayam Echo is doing the Caitlyn thing, right? You just go player versus tower. It's PvT. It's just so strong. Because Arthlon, West Coast Carry is just done.
Yep.
That's just too much damage coming out.
Yeah, I mean, not only does Arthlon have 5 kills under his belt, whereas Shyvana only has 3 assists, but with the Blade of the Rune King and the Randuins, you know, it's even if you get him under half, as he said, triple lifesteal. So it's a bad news scenario for the West Coast Carry. I've liked his play, I've liked his strategies, but in the end, the stronger team comps have definitely shown their way to the Super Team.
Absolutely, yeah. So Hayam Echo, a little bit low on health right now, but again, another hook onto Effusively, but no one wants any part of that, because as soon as that distance is down, it's going to be Tibbers time. Right now, they're content to just let Chuper split push and continue denying farm and continue pushing into the tower. Now as he's rotating back up towards the top lane, once he's here, expect to see the fireworks start to fly. Instead
of, you know, Luso vault breaking into Gragas to try to capitalize, you see her vault breaking away. The mentality of the team at this point is pretty ragged. Snicker is now going to be caught in a really big Super Team sandwich, and She's the fillings, 8-17 for that kill, and another turret going the way of the super team. So they're going to be pushing in for the second inhibitor with a 5-on-4. They got both the blues. I think they got both the reds at this point as well. And again, towers are just melting. We got Shyvana going in, but 1-on-5. If Arthelon couldn't do it, I don't think West Coast Carry can. And she does drop for her efforts. Got Annie just going to be bringing down that Aatrox. He flashes forward, but I'm not too sure he's going to have the gear to get out of that scenario, but Arthelon does drop either way. Double kill from Echo, dies the tower, goes to Jinx for the kill, but she got her own triple for it. And now with most of the team of the Snuggies dead, that tower actually is going to survive just a little bit longer. Snicker is going to try to bring down the Batosa.
I like this. Snicker's going for the high percentage play. He doesn't want to use. I was saying he doesn't want to use the javelin to clean him up. He's supposed to keep going in, but he's going to get flashing on anyway. Not entirely sure what Batusai wants to achieve with that necessarily. Nidalee can kind of pounce around a lot, and will oh my.
Well, I think that's it. I'm pretty sure Thresh has a free pass out of that one. Oh, so close. The barrier and the ignite from Snicker. Sorry, the barrier and I think that was the ignite from Batosai. Still, oh my goodness, way too much effort.
Good. He had one full flay cancel and then another flay right as Snicker was trying to come into the tower. Almost got it. Almost got it. Like, the thing that's difficult about that is that Nidalee isn't going to start really dealing. Well, actually, there's no creeps there, so she would have taken aggro as soon as she came into the tower. I mean, it was a good bait. Batusai, if he had landed that death sentence under the tower, maybe could have traded that kill back out. But as it is, he just ends up wasting more time, and Snicker isn't able to really achieve a whole lot. Can't farm up the jungle, can't really take a blue buff or anything like that, as that's going to get claimed by Superteam Midnight as well.
Arthelon has started the Baron. He is literally dancing like he wants to at the Baron pit. He doesn't have any friends, but he's making a good effort. Vi in the mid there, Luso, is going to force out that flash from Echo, but here comes the rest of the team, and I mean, honestly, there's no wards here, right? So I don't think there's any indication that we know from the Snuggies.
You can dance if you want to. You can leave your friends behind. Because your friends don't dance, and if they don't dance, here comes the Shyvana!
I'm not quite sure that's how it goes. Fail flash from Schuper, but he's still going to get out of that one. West Coast Carry takes home the kill. Perhaps a little bit too presumptuous from the Super Team. Effusively gets out low hit points as well. Blue Team now does take out that Baron. This is definitely LCS play that we have been seeing all time and time again. Will this be the Game of Throws? Time will tell. Snicker going to try to jump here on top of the Arthelon, but Arthelon just says, yeah, I can do that too. Jumps right back on top of him, takes the Lantern out. The Lantern Express to home. Echo is going to get chunked out a little bit, but the net is going to be enough. And when all said is done, it's only Panzer Dragon and the Baron. But is that enough to bring the Snuggies back?
I mean, we'll see. Jinx is starting to get to the stage of the game where her damage is going to really scale up. When she completes her second and third items, she gets huge power spikes from that one. Having the Baron buff is going to be a big help for them as well, and they're trying to take full advantage of this one. They're moving to everywhere they have creeps on towers and allowing Evan RL the time he needs to just right-click those towers down while he's in his minigun form and let Pow Pow just start shredding stuff.
Pow Pow, yeah, go Pow Pow. Arthelon jumps in. There's that Randuin keeping people in range. Snicker actually thinks split pushed out oh no, she got the tower. It's okay, but I don't. She's gonna live. That was a great stun there on top of Panzer Dragon. Vi going in as well. Trooper is gonna grab the kill as we have Panzer Dragon picks up the second, and it does not look like we're gonna lose anyone else here except that Arthelon from these trade outs. So in the end, it was towers and a 2-for-1 trade. That Baron is now out for Luso and Effusively.
And big shout out to West Coast Carry, just fantastic tank play, soaking up as many cooldowns as he could, using his character model to body block as many things as he could, and then finding the opportunity to get himself out at the end of the fight, flashing over a wall where no one was really in a position to kind of follow him and able to keep himself alive. So I mean, right now Evan RL is the one glorious, bright, shining hope for this team. Like, they need to keep him alive, and they need to keep him dealing damage, especially now that he's got the Last Whisper and is well on his way towards the Static Shiv. He's going to be dealing a lot of damage, and if they're able to create a tanky front line so that he can stand and right-click, either with the AoE damage coming out from Fishbones or just melt down single targets like Arthelon while in Pow Pow, while using Pow Pow, then they are very much in this game.
Thank you, Ruben. That was amazing. But 22-14 for the score. 9,000-ish gold between them. It's a little fluid right now as creeps and jungles are being taken out. Trooper did get his blue back, and you know, let's take a quick look at the low in terms of creeps. 199 leading up the game. Caitlyn about to hit the 200 mark. 10 kills on top of her with the Infinity, with the Bloodthirster, and the Phantom. So she hits like an absolute truck at this point. In terms of everyone else, like the creep scores, overall not hugely different. Top lane is really the biggest disparity. If you take a look, there's 70 between them, but you know, about 40 or so between the other two lanes, and that's pretty good for considering the state of the game. And speaking of the state of Batosai, it is West Coast Carry jumping into the back. Panzer Dragon went in immediately with that Cyclone, kept the team at bay, comes on back. Batosai cleans up the kill on top of the West Coast Carry. Evan RL in the back is going to be running for it. Snickers now dead. That's going to be the double for Echo with the ace in the hole. And that is very likely game.
So, let's talk for a little bit about Batosai, right?
Sure.
A little death sentence on the Vi in the air with the, you know, with the Vault Breaker. Not bad. Not bad. Being able to start that fight off. And that was just an efficient usage of cooldowns.